Um, so I'm going to start with this part here, and I'm going to go to Maya and create a new scene. Project new, and this is I'm going to call it TASCAM underscore player. I'm going to browse and drop it on the desktop for now. Since this is a demonstration, I'm going to drop this project in the desktop and click open. So the location is on my desktop. I'm going to use all the default folders. Click accept. I'm going to save the scene right away. Just always make sure that you're saving it into the proper location, desktop, TASCAM player scenes. So I'm going to put the date. It's 22. Player 01. So my ASCII file save, and I'm going to start with a cylinder. So I'm going to start with a cylinder, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to click 5 on so I can see it the shaded mode. I'm going to make sure that this cylinder is going to be in the middle of the grid. So I'm going to go to my channel box and select all these text. You can actually drag and select text fields here and click 0. So that will orient on the beginning of on the center of this grid. And let me go to the top view. Get in the habit of changing views. It's very important to change views so you can see the object and how it's located in your grid, on your grid. And I'm going to press 4 on the top view and look at this. So basically what I want to do is find a way to make these symmetrically. So these symmetrical parts. So I will need more geometry around this cylinder. I don't have enough. So I will select the cylinder, and here in the channel box under the inputs, I'm going to play around with these numbers for a second. You can see here that we have 20 subdivisions. It's subdivided 20 times along its axis, but I want to subdivide, give some subdivisions along the cap here. So I'm going to select the subdivision text, go to my top view, and I hold down the middle mouse button. I can dial, free dial, like from holding down the middle mouse button and dragging from left to right. I can just add these subdivisions. So these are enough for now, and I will just go closer and see if I can count, if I can make like these symmetrical. I'm going to select these two faces and go here. Are these symmetrical? Actually they're not, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces here, 5 spaces here, and 4 spaces here. Doesn't really work. Okay, I want 5 spaces here. Why don't I just abort this, go back to my channel box, and give one more subdivision along the axis. Let's do 21. Now I'll be able to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is basically really what I wanted. The problem is it's a little bit off here. Don't worry about that. The next step, since we found out how many subdivisions we need in order to make a symmetrical arrangement of these holes, we want to open these holes and we want them in spaced out evenly. So I'm done with that. I know that I want 21 subdivisions. I'm going to go to my object mode and to the perspective. Since we are basically done with this task, I'm going to get rid of the other faces we don't need. So go to the face mode. I'm going to select all these faces and delete them. So I'm left with only the cap. I'm gonna go tap my spacebar and hold, click on the Maya and go to top view, and I will straighten this up because it's not gonna help me to model this with this kind of weird angle. What I'm going to do is click on the E button to activate my rotation, and I'm going to start eyeballing. I'm going to rotate it until I see this line straight. This I only care about this line. If this looks straight, I'm going to do my best. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. I can just go even. Let's see if 4 degrees. 4.2. No. This is kind of straight. This looks straight, so. But notice now that our tools are all off. So once we straighten this up, I'm going to select it, delete the history, and also I'm going to freeze the transformations. Notice that my obviously, because I rotated that 4 degrees, it's the local tool, the rotation tool in its local orientation is off the grid. So how can we straighten that out? We deleted the history, and I'm going to go to modify, freeze the transformations. Whenever you freeze transformations, everything goes back, resets back to normal. So Maya forgets about the offsets and everything, and really sets everything back to 0 as it would be when we create an object. So now it's all back to 0. The location of these are closer to the edges, kind of like it's kind of the same distance here. So let's try to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the edge mode and select, double click on this edge and just scale it up a little bit. And this one, double click, scale it down. So we have a kind of a distancing. I need a lot of space here for this black part that it rotates this all this mechanism that we're going to be working on. And I'll start with this now, and if I want to tweak anything later, I can do that too. So I'm going to, let me just a little bit more, push it up. And I'm going to start going to the faces. So I'm going to select this and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure that everything is 5. And I'm not going to delete them yet. Instead of, usually everybody would just, okay, let's get rid of these faces and let's drop, delete them and get rid of, start working on the model. But we need some like area around these faces, so I'm going to extrude them first so I can have like a little bit of a spacing. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude, edit mesh, extrude, and I'm not going to touch this yet until I go closer to one of these and click on one of these scale buttons in order to get the universal scale button pops out when I click on one of these squares. And I'm going to just try to shape this as much as I can. It's not going to be perfect for now. It's like, and you'll see it's not perfect, so we have to kind of, I'm going to tweak it a little bit. Go to the top view, and I'm going to manually go to my vertices, select these and just scale them down and keep selecting move them down a little bit. So just do a little bit of work here until I get this right. Like just move them so they have an even spacing. I need that spacing because it will be very helpful to create a sharp edge. This is takes a little time. We're preparing the base mesh in order to get and keep saving. I'm gonna save and keep looking at these gaps. If they look the same, if not, keep working on them. It's not a big deal if this is not accurate. I mean, as close as possible. You see, I'm not like accurately placing these vertices, I'm just eyeballing it. Now the next step is to select these faces that we basically don't need anymore. I'm going to delete them. Let's press 3 and look at this object. So we kind of have something. We started with a cylinder and we ended up with this little part. Of course, we need to keep working on the shape because these, if you notice, they curve out. They curve out a little bit. So let's work on that now. We don't have any information, any sort of resolution here to use, so we can make that curve. So we need to start adding resolution. I'm going to go to my Edit Mesh and use the Insert Edge Loop tool to insert in the middle these edge loops. What's that going to do is I can go to my vertices and just scale them out so I can create a sort of, you know, like tension here, like curve them out a little bit, you know. I always have the habit to press 3 to look at the soft mode, but I don't stay there because it will actually be harmful to keep modeling in this mode because you never know what you're doing. If you, let's say if I move this and I think it's fine, if you go back to 1, look where it is. It looks fine here, but look where it is. In reality, it's overlapping the vertex. A lot of people, okay, I'm gonna start modeling in this stage, in this kind of like mode. So that's like you have to like make sure you don't do that because it will mess up your modeling. So here you notice I'm going to go into a lot of detail, so I'm going to explain every step. So here I did that, but look at this flow. This flow goes like this, and then this goes like that. It stops there, and then it goes like really straight. So get in the habit of correcting every single thing. Like just keep the flow going the right way. So we got to go and like correct these little things make a huge difference. So let's move these now up. I can even do it manually since I'm trying to